Welcome to the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance, where we will be discussing how to recruit employees and students. We'll be talking about tools and strategies in the clean energy and energy efficiency field. Thank you for joining. We're happy that you took some time today to share it with us. Welcome to all of those who are attending for the first time, and welcome back to our regulars who attend every month on the third Thursday of the month. Michelle, you can go to the next slide, please. The Interstate Renewable Energy Council is a national nonprofit working to remove barriers to the deployment of clean energy for all Americans. We do this through regulatory reform, local initiatives, and workforce development. So we're working to help communities around the U.S. To accelerate solar and other clean energy technologies. Next slide, please. We have a very exciting agenda for you today. I will give information about the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance. Brent Kosick will present some information about the Green Employer Learning Cohort. And then we'll have the featured presentation from Deborah Angela Sun, Sarah Hill from the U.S. Partnership for Education and Sustainable Development. And Larry Zarker, Nancy Kaplan, and Carrie will join her. Kelly Carey will join her from BPA. At the end of the presentation, as we always do, we'll have a question and answer that will go about 30 minutes, and Deborah will lead that question and answer. Next slide, please. I am Janelle Hills. I am joined today by Dr. Cynthia Finley, Dr. Deb Rowe, and I don't think Dr. Gerard Melicon is on, but we are in partnership with the National Council for Workforce Education, and this work is funded through the Bank of America. So just wanted to introduce our partners to you. Michelle, you can go to the next slide. And this is just a few reminders. Listeners are on mute. You're more than welcome to put your comments in the chats. Use the question and answer tab to send us any questions, and we'll address your questions at the end of the discussion. At the end of, slow down, Janelle. We'll address your questions in the discussion at the end of the webinar. We'll also send a copy of this presentation and resources to you. This webinar is being recorded. And just a reminder, mark your calendars for the third Thursday of each month at 2 p.m. This is when we hold our National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance webinars. Next slide, please. If you're on this webinar, you likely know that good workforce development doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen by accident. We have to be very intentional in the work that we do to rapidly scale a diverse and sustainable clean energy workforce. We do this so that we can leverage best practices, resources, and create strong partnerships like we have on the webinar today. We continue to work to connect the dots, bring everyone out of their silos, and address workforce development more holistically, focusing on every aspect of the workforce development landscape, from a new learner and worker recruitment through employer development and retention of employees. We always say you can't talk about recruitment without talking about retention, so that piece is very important. Next slide, please. The National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance, we have cohorts, and we do this through strategic areas of focus: funding and program design, recruitment and support of workers and learners, training, education, and credentialing, and employer recruitment and retention. Next slide, please. Just a quick reminder that IREC just launched our Green Workforce Connect platform. And this is a platform where we're cultivating a new generation of diverse weatherization assistance program professionals and contractors. Keep in mind that it's weatherization specific now, but we will have a new iteration come out that will include registered apprenticeship programs as well as the solar technology. So you can go to the next slide, Michelle. Our goal with Green Workforce Connect is to recruit and hire a new generation of home energy professionals and contractors from underrepresented populations and disadvantaged communities. These are the groups that we are focused on, but we're not limited to. I'll drop a link in the chat that will take you directly to this page so that you can follow it and have access to it. Flag it as one of your favorites because we have some exciting things that will be launched with Green Workforce Connect in the coming months. You can go to the next slide, please. And I'll turn it over to Brent Kosick. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hills. Yeah, that's me on the screen. I'm Brent Kosick. I'm the Director of Climate and Workforce at Service Year Alliance. Quickly, before we get into our main content today, I just wanted to share a new opportunity that we're launching to actually for you all to receive some payment for further developing diverse talent pipelines. So with that, can we go to the next slide? So in short, our organization works to support the service year ecosystem. And when I say service year, what we mean by that is paid opportunities for individuals to gain marketable job skills while also serving to meet community needs. So you might be familiar with some programs that kind of fit within that field, such as AmeriCorps, Youth Build, Peace Corps, but probably most applicable to today's presentation is the launch of the American Climate Corps. So what this initiative is all about is anywhere between 20,000 to 50,000 young people are going to be serving in the American Climate Corps each year. And we are finding that generally that breaks down to a population of about 53% identifying as minority populations and 40% identifying as women. So we think that of this as a really great initiative to further diversify fields like clean energy and energy efficiency and other green sector positions. Next slide, please. So Service Year Alliance have been going down this track of kind of climate and clean energy jobs for a few years now. And we're finding a lot of alignment that folks that go through, say, American Climate Corps initiatives that come out with skills, experience, training, and certifications that really align well with a lot of clean energy and energy efficiency jobs and green sector jobs in general. I'm not going to go through the whole list here on the screen, but as you can see, like a lot of these young people are traveling throughout a state or region or the entire country doing service projects, obviously very applicable to like installing solar panels or going to utility scale jobs and things like that. A lot of them have tool use and safety qualifications, but there's also a lot of programs that are maybe office-based positions where folks are doing everything from analyzing local policy, so government relations type of stuff, to data entry. So kind of run the gambit of qualifications for different jobs that you all might be looking for. And then there's a list of like some certifications that are very applicable to the industry that these young people oftentimes obtain as well. Next slide, please. So again, we're really excited to be launching this Green Employer Learning Cohort. And what this is all about is we are going to be bringing American Climate Corps programs / state networks together with employers like you all that want to work together to figure out how we can build a stronger talent pipeline into green sector jobs after they complete a term of service in the American Climate Corps. So generally what this is going to look like is there's going to be a series of group learning so we can learn from both like employer perspectives about what are the needs, skills that you all are looking for, and what also are the pinch points to hiring. And then also learning from the American Climate Corps side of things about the skills that those young people are learning, what their pinch points are into post-service placement. And then we'll also be bringing in some of our partners to bring like best practices to the table as well. Next slide, please. So some benefits for employers or organizations like yours to participate in this is Again, you're going to be able to establish brand new hiring pipelines for your open positions or positions you're expecting in the future. You're going to be gaining insights from other employers in the state or in the space, as well as our workforce partners as well. It's going to be pretty exciting to be contributing towards the formation of the American Climate Corps as a significant workforce development mechanism for the green sector industries. There's a lot of media traction around the American Climate Corps right now, so we'll be doing as much as we can to elevate employers that join this as part of those outreach strategies. And then again, we're going to be offering a modest consulting funds for employers or organizations or agencies that want to participate. So it depends on exactly what you're going to be looking at with us, but probably anywhere between like $2,000 and $5,000 just to help compensate for like time and effort spent on this initiative. Next slide, please. General expectations are that we're going to do like 2 meetings, either group meetings or one-on-one meetings a month between September 2024 and May 2025. And then ultimately what we are gearing towards is we would want employers to establish some kind of talent development relationship plan with an American Climate Corps partner. And we're not going to be heavy-handed with that. We want to just explore what works. That can be anything from aligning skill development and training to preferential hiring treatment to embedding certifications that your organization is looking for, stuff like that. But anyways, I would love to talk to any folks that might be interested. My dog's hunting from the doorbell. But next slide, please. We are going to post a one-pager in the chat where you can learn more information about this initiative. And I'll also post my email where all you have to do is send me an email if your company or organization might be interested in participating, and we can follow up with a Zoom conversation. We can make sure it's a right fit. So with that, I'll yield my time on the floor.
Great. Thank you so much, Brent. Hi, everybody. So glad to be back with gifts. So if it feels like your birthday today, it is a day of gifts to you. And we have spent many months, a couple of years putting this together, and this is the national launch. We're so glad that you are able to join us. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm just continuing on the same slide set. You're going to get this with the recording, and but we're going to be doing the slides here so that the timing is most effective. We know the most important thing is making good use of your time and making your jobs easier so that we can have the inclusive clean energy transition that we all need. We're going to talk to you today about how to recruit employees and how to recruit students into your programs, into your organizations, into your nonprofits, your businesses, your educational institutions, with specific tools and strategies in the clean energy and energy efficiency fields. And thank you so much to National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance for hosting this national launch. So let's get started. As I said, the purpose of today is to give you gifts. We're to help you get more students, get more employees, and enhance the diversity and inclusion of underrepresented groups as both students and employees in these fields. We want you to be able to increase your enrollment in your education and training pathways so that more students are ready to go into careers in residential energy efficiency, HVAC, but specifically with an emphasis on heat pumps, because we want to be decarbonizing and electrifying our homes and then feeding in the clean energy to them, and also home performance. We also want to boost through the materials we're giving you to use today, the number of workers that are entering these fields. And as I said, along the way, enhance the diversity and inclusion of underrepresented groups. So we've created a toolkit with practical resources. Those of you who know me, you know that I only want practical information that you can use that'll really make a difference. Not only can you use this information, but you can customize it to your needs. And there's no cost because somebody else has covered the cost for you. You've heard about some of our speakers today. I'm president of the U.S. Partnership for Education for Sustainable Development. And as you know, was a professor in this area for 42 years at Oakland Community College and then helped other colleges start their programs. Larry Zarker is the Chief Executive Officer of BPI, that's the Building Performance Institute. Nancy Kaplan will be here to answer questions. She won't be doing formal speaking today. She's also from BPI, and Kelly Carey, who's been an essential part of our team, along with Nancy, Angela, Sarah. She's the Marketing and Communications Specialist at BPI. Angela Sun and Sarah Hill are both with the U.S. Partnership. Angela is a Climate Fellow. Sarah is our Energy Transition Specialist. And then we've got some speakers from our funders. So I will hand it over to Larry Zarker right now, CEO of BPI. Larry?
Thank you, Deb. And thank you to IREC and the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance for hosting this webinar. I also want to give thanks for the foresight of Pacific Northwest National Labs to provide financial support for this project to focus on tools that help the recruitment process. You can't just provide workforce development training and expect the classroom to be full. You need to design the message to reach people where they are and engage them in the opportunity. We also want to thank our partner, Deborah Rowe, for bringing us this project. Deborah, as you know, is with U.S. Partnership for Education and Sustainable Development, and is joined today by Angela and Sarah. This project is generating a lot of enthusiasm across the country as the recruitment tools we're making freely available to organizations can be co-branded for use in finding a new and more diverse workforce to go through the training and the credentialing process. Next slide, please. Just by way of background, we're a 31-year-old organization. We are an ANSI accredited standards development organization and certifying body. We set standards for how you assess and upgrade the network of 136 million homes in the US, and then we certify the workforce to ensure quality development of the work. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Deborah.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I just want to tell you a little bit about the U.S. Partnership for Education for Sustainable Development because we want to get into the gifts. Who are we? Well, we have multiple sector teams, higher ed, K-12, communities, business, youth. We bring together people who should be doing more with climate and with sustainability, and we convene them. And then we use our two magic sentences. You are in a unique and important role to help create a more sustainable future. We can't do this without you. And we catalyze initiatives, and then we communicate that across all sectors of society so that we can get a sustainable, inclusive, clean energy future. And our work in this space has been nationally, but also internationally. We've had participants from over 100 countries working with us on workforce development through the Clean Energy Ministers and the Clean Energy Ministerial. And we work with 9 UN agencies and higher ed networks for sustainability. Okay, enough about us. Before we get into why this is so important, I would like to hand the microphone over to Megan McNulty. She's from the Pacific Northwest National Labs, and they are the ones who supported this. So thanks to them. Megan, you want to give us a little bit of information here?
Sure. Happy to do so. We're really excited about this. So our team at Pacific Northwest National Labs, we're very happy to support this. The toolkit has some really great resources for connecting students, people looking for their first career, people looking for a new career, to all these great HVAC and in general energy efficiency careers. So one of the things that we operate is a curriculum library online called the Building Science Education Solution Center that provides training programs with open source, ready-to-use materials on modern heat pump water heater, energy auditing, home energy efficiency skills. And it's all part of the supporting training, upskilling, entry to the workforce. So I'll drop a link in the chat for that if anyone is looking for those resources. I think that's a really nice complement to the toolkit. And we're also working on a heat pump validation partnership, which identified workforce shortage as one of their priority tasks. So if you're have any interest in facilitating these next gen heat pumps, heat pump water heater trainings, we have people who are working on that as well. But yeah, we're happy to be here and excited about the launch of the toolkit.
Thank you. Thank you. So I do want to point out, you should take that link from the chat on their center. There's so much good information there. We also included information on that in the toolkit because we thought it was so important. So why is recruitment so important? Well, because there's a really high demand for workers and there's a widening gap. We don't have the workers that we need. It's especially in the area of installers, but really it's in all these different levels of jobs and careers. And so it's a crucial solution. We are not going to be able to stabilize our climate or prevent the worst impacts of climate change unless we electrify our buildings, decarbonize our buildings, and then bring in the clean energy to provide the energy that we need. So this is crucial. And if you look at the science-based targets for climate change, this is the area where we have cost-effective solutions, where the technologies are already there. So we have to implement these very quickly to meet those 2030 based targets. There's all of these slides have resources where you can go to the footnotes. You can utilize these slides to educate your own networks. So just letting you know about that. Okay, so here we go, right? Here it is. This is the link to the landing page at BPI that will give you all these gifts. We tried to make it really easy. We're putting that link into the chat. You go there and you will get the rest. There you can download the recruitment toolkit. And here's what you'll get when you do that. You will also see a bunch of other resources on that page. So the content of the toolkit is vetted. Did you see how my hair went gray since the last time I was with you? Yeah. A lot of that was this toolkit, but I was glad to do it because the work was important. We brought in all sorts of people who were experts into our advisory committee, and they could give us feedback on what was needed. They also vetted the toolkit content and then also at the end reviewed it all. We also had pilots who used the materials. They shared metrics. They did statistically significant studies. We also compiled other market research studies that had already been done. And we worked with national engagement partners and local engagement partners. They also used the updated materials from the pilots. They gathered and shared metrics. They gave us feedback. And so all of that went into creating this set of recruitment tools. The toolkit includes these essential resources. Yes, we created original content for you. It is not where you have to ask for permission. It is unbranded. You can put your information on it and use it for your outreach to get more students or to get employees, for your social media. We spent a lot of time looking at what messages were going to be most effective to reach out to particularly a diverse workforce, what was going to be meaningful for them and motivate them to act and come in as students or employees. We also created customizable photos and graphics. You'll see some examples today, and strategies to effectively connect to key contacts that can bring you the students or the workers. Look, I used to be both retail and wholesale contractor. And then, now I run a nonprofit, and then I also was an educator. I know how busy you all are. So we tried to really design it so that it would be easy to use and increase your successes. Now, as we went along, we realized that you need information on recruiting, but you also need some more in-depth information on this diversity issue. So we included some of those. Not all of those are ours. We found some of the best resources out there to include. And also, once you have these students or these employees, how do you retain them? So we have a section on that, although I think we all know that we could do more with getting materials and digging more into retention, but we have a good section for you on that. Okay, so here's the 7 key messages that we identified, and we went back and forth with all of these experts on it, and then we did the testing, as we said, and used others' testing. So it's not perfect. You'll have to see what works for you, but I think this is really going to save you a lot of time with using messages that are less effective. You'll see there's multiple messages in some of these boxes. And when you get into the toolkit, we have identified the high priority multiple messages in each of these areas. So be a community hero. But, we found out for the high schools, be a community superhero works better. Work beyond the office walls, earn money, but we think you should be more specific if you've got paid training or if you've got learn while you earn, that you should actually be specific about that and what the amounts are. But also some people want to learn and use the latest technology. So that's what appeals to them. Of course, some people are doing this because they care so much about the environment. Anyway, lots of information in the toolkit on these messages and how to use them and who they appeal to. This is our table of contents on the left. It's only one page, but it's filled with wonderful information and it helps you to stay organized and linked to all the other parts of the toolkit. So giving you just some tastes. We've got key recruitment strategies. Like, how do you make sure the counselors and career advisors know about this quickly without wasting time? How do you use other organizations' reach so that it doesn't all have to be generated by you? How can you earn free media coverage? And you've heard me before about my history of being the energy doctor for the largest radio station in Detroit and getting free TV coverage. And so we gave you the specifics of how to do that. Have fun with, and then you don't have to pay money to get the free media coverage. How can you attract workers and students from adjacent industries? And we've got the parents we've got to deal with the younger students. So we put together some good information on what appeals to them. How do you lower the barriers? And then for those who are aware and engaged in this is key, crucial climate solutions. We have some climate change centric materials and then some general tips. That's just a piece of the table of contents. There's a whole other section on how do you build customer demand, either for your training program or for your business products. And then how do you grow your business, which is specifically for contractors. We have key resources for community organizations, a wonderful link we have that goes to a little manual on that. And also education and training materials, bringing in the resources from P&NL for both of those, and then testimonials. We have some, we'll be putting in more. You'll be hearing more about that as well. So now I'm going to hand it over to Sarah. They have been an essential member of the team, and they're going to talk to you about a checklist that'll make it even easier to use this toolkit and keep track of what you've done and what you can do next. Sarah?
Thank you. To most effectively use the toolkit, we've created a self-assessment tool called the Recruitment Checklist, included in Appendix D of the toolkit, where you can keep track of your recruitment efforts and improvement over time. The checklist is designed to be paired with the recruitment toolkit with specific sections that align with the toolkit, titled the same as they are in the recruitment toolkit table of contents, and as active clickable links back to the section if you view it on your computer. This checklist will help you easily and most effectively use the entire toolkit. As you see with the checklist, you'll rate how frequently your organization has used a given strategy, with the frequency rating being 0 for not at all, 1 for once, 2 for occasionally, and 3 for actively or regularly. This rating scale is highlighted on the first page of the checklist for your convenience. The checklist then also has space so you can describe what your organization has done related to the given strategy, as well as what your organization plans to do, or what effective next steps you can take to fully use the strategy. Remember, only you will have access to the data you enter unless you choose to share it with others. Specifically, this checklist focuses on some of the major areas of the toolkit, including customizable recruitment materials, key recruitment strategies, complementary essential strategies and resources, and building consumer demand and growing your organization. Now, specifically to hear more on how you can use the toolkit, I'll be passing it to Angela.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And as Sarah mentioned, I am going to take you all through a few examples together that will help to demonstrate how different types of organizations can use this toolkit. However, before I do that, I need to mention that there's a lot of awesome planned updates coming for the toolkit already. So in order to receive updates, notices of updates, please take 20 seconds right now. I'm going to wait 20 seconds right now to click on the link that I dropped in the chat and to sign up. This is really the main way that we'll be able to get you the notice of updates that are coming up for the toolkit. So please take 10 seconds to fill it out right now.
It's really short. Just ask for your name and your email. You can put other stuff in if you want. But otherwise, we don't have any way to getting the information out to you. So please fill it out. Thank you. And I cannot see the chat. So Sarah, if you want to keep track of any essential things I need to do, you can text me or you can interrupt me. Okay.
All right, you can continue filling out the form, but now let's dive into some examples. Okay, let us start with an example of a training organization. Let's say you are a technical high school, a community college, or a nonprofit offering training, and your goal is to recruit more students to come and take your classes, let's say in heat pumps or heat pump water heaters. First, you should open the checklist in Appendix D. And a quick hint and a preview for you all, this is how all of these examples are going to start because we really, really want to drive home how important and how easy the checklist will make your life as you navigate your way through the toolkit. So open the checklist, identify the relevant sections, and then you could pick the relevant messages and graphics. And here you really want to take a moment and look through the different materials that Deborah alluded to. And you should think about what is the age, for example, and demographic of your potential student body. What kind of things do they care about? Which of these messages do you think will actually be more effective with them? Or if you're not 100% sure, maybe you want to pick 2 or 3 of them and test them out in your context. And then after picking the right materials, you really need to get the word out. The toolkit has a lot of different tested strategies, like reaching out to career advisors and asking them to present your course, or posting and announcing that you have an open house, maybe through radio or social media or other different ways. And a lot of those ideas are in the toolkit as well. And then lastly, you might want to think about how you can make your information really welcoming and inclusive, for example, on your website, whether it's being intentional about the graphics you choose and making sure that these really represent your potential student population, or if you're offering wraparound services or scholarships, you definitely want to make sure that type of information is included in all of your materials. So please refer to the checklist to make sure you have a good blueprint for taking these actions. Next slide, please. Now let's take another example. Let's say you are a contractor or an employer. Similarly, you would want to open the checklist and choose the right materials that you think would work best for your job seeker population. Next one, please. And then you want to get your word out also, but the way you get your word out as a contractor will probably be different than if you were an educator. So for example, you could call local high schools and community colleges to attend their career fairs and to really directly connect with the recruits. Or you could even host some workshops at schools yourselves. A lot of these ideas, we know the importance of employers, of really directly connecting with your recruits. So the toolkit contains a lot more ideas like these for contractors, so please take a look. And then lastly, as an employer, you probably want to think about how to improve your employee retention. And as Janelle mentioned, that's the really other side of the coin that's very important. And you want to specifically think about how do you establish a culture and how do you establish clear career pathways at your company? These step-by-step guides can be found in the toolkit. So as usual, please reference the checklist to find your way to that section. And then lastly, last but not least, let's imagine you are an academic and career advisor. So at this point, we all know the drill. You would, of course, open the checklist, but specifically for career advisors, there is a special call out for you all on page 2 of the checklist, so please check that out. And you would examine which messages would work well with your student body. And here we'd encourage, can you think back to any of your students who maybe demonstrated interest in doing something related to climate and sustainability specifically, or those who simply want a good job or maybe want to do something more active. So this is an opportunity for you to go through the materials and think about which of these materials might actually be relevant for my student body. And then you can also go to the section titled Explain the Career Paths to Motivate Interest, where there's a whole suite of tools and career maps that you can start using right now to help students navigate their own career in this field and to have conversations with them about what their career paths could look like. And of course, please reference the checklist. So I hope that the walkthrough of these use cases give you a better sense of how you can start using the toolkit today. And now I will hand it over to Kelly to go over a lot of the amazing material that she led the efforts for.
Hello, everybody. Great to see you today. I just want to ask, I see a lot of people in the audience out there who were involved in the creation of this project. If you were involved, give a shout out in the chat. Raise your hand, say proud partner, give your name. September Ward, I know that you provided some important referrals for us. I'm really excited to see you here. Thank you to everyone who was involved. It was a real labor of love for many, many people. So I want to start to talk about the nuts and bolts of what these materials are and how to use them. I am a day-to-day marketing operations person. I spend a lot of time writing emails, making social media posts. Typically, I would start my journey on the landing page. I'm going to pop in the chat here. Thank you, Katie. I'm so glad you made it. Katie was an absolute hero. I'm going to talk about what she did a little later on. This is Katie in this image right there. Everybody say hi. We made social media graphics for all of the major social media platforms. They are currently on our website as JPEGs because it is easy, it is adaptable. The themes that we talked about are on every one so that you can really pick and choose for what works best for your audience. Download those JPEGs, edit them in the way that you like to edit your photos. You can do it on your phone, you can do it in your favorite editing program. I like to use Canva. Whatever works best for you. Next slide, please. In the toolkit, there are links to some online archives that we will be moving onto the website over the next couple of months. There are editable Canva templates. This is personally my favorite way to work with these materials. We will be becoming a Canva creator so that you can find them more easily. You may adapt these and edit these in any way you want. You know your audience best. We've created them for you, but they're for you to use. Also linked in the toolkit, there is a link to a Google Drive where the Adobe files live. You can download the source files and change them any way you like. Please don't use them for hate speech. I know you won't, but other than that, they are really for you to use. This is completely open and in your hands. There are flyers that can be emailed or printed. There are graphics that are formatted for slide presentations or to embed in emails or to embed in your website. This project was created to empower you in your marketing for your organization. Next slide, please. One of the things that we learned very early on in this project is that in the world of commercially available marketing materials, there is an acute shortage of good images for home performance, electrification, and HVAC work, and in particular, a real shortage of diverse images of people who do the work, represent it accurately. Every single person we talked to, they were sort of like, respectfully, these commercial images are not good enough. And we were like, you're absolutely right, they are not. And we adapted our project, we modified our budget, and we worked with one of our pilot sites to commission a photo shoot to develop free marketing quality images for this industry. Katie was our project manager. Katie Schmidt at Wayne Metro Community Action made this happen for us. When you look at the photos on the recruitment tools page of bpi.org, those are real employees of Wayne Metro Community Action. They gave a day out of their work lives to help make this happen. I'm incredibly grateful to them, and I'm so proud. This is, I feel, a real accomplishment for the industry as a whole. I'm very, very excited. We hope to carry this work through in the future. This is a northern climate where this photo shoot was done. We'd like to do the same thing in other climates to represent the types of buildings, the types of homes, the types of people who are doing the work. We really hope to carry this work forward in the future. Next slide. The other thing we heard is that people need to be able to actually see the faces and hear the voices of the people who are doing this work, because as we have discussed, the faces that we see are overwhelmingly white and a little bit older. So again, we adapted our budget, we made room in the project, we shifted our capacity to do more. The first video in the series of testimonials is available now on the website. There will be more coming. This is Wesley Booker of Block Power. He came through a workforce development program at Block Power. He's now an employee. He gave an absolutely wonderful interview. I think it's so inspiring and touching. You can see it on the videos page. Do we have a representative from Block Power here today? I know that they received invitations. I hope some folks are here, but thank you so much for being involved. This is more that work that we hope to continue to expand in the future. If you have early to mid-career employees who would like to spread the word about why home performance and HVAC careers were a great choice for them, please reach out to me, because we want to showcase your people, their experience, and their wisdom. And now I'll pass it off. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So all of those materials, as Kelly said, are for you to use, right? That means, did you see the white space on the bottom of a bunch of them? You can put in your organization's name. You can talk about whatever events you have coming up, what your website is that they can go to. That's really for you to edit however you want. And you don't have to keep it in the way that it is, but at least it makes it easy if you just want to fill in the white space with your stuff and then put it out there. I also wanted to let you know that it's set up so it can also be posters. Imagine if these posters are hung up, whether it's in high schools or whether it's in community colleges or in your nonprofits. So please take advantage of the fact that you can utilize them that way. There are 7 themes, so you have a lot to choose from here, and then there's variations on those themes. Oh, it sounds like a symphony. So I also want to let you know that in addition to all the original content that we've created for you, there are resources from others. So the National Council for Workforce Education had a grant, and they put together a wonderful toolkit on strategies to recruit more Black, Indigenous, and people of color and women to green skilled trades and crafts and STEM job training. So we give you the link to that in the toolkit as well. And we found that there were some great resources from NYSERDA. And so we included those as well. And you know what? This is just a taste. Okay. So there's so much more. And it got to the point where it's like, whoa, this is a lot. And that's why we made the checklist for you, so that it would make it really easy for you to use and find what was going to be most important to you. So here's the thing. We've done all this work. We've brought it to you as gifts. And of course, I assume at this point that you're going to use it. But we also need to let other people know about it. And so we created on this first link that you see, that's going into the chat again, if it's not already there, there is a button that says share the toolkit. Please click on that button, or you can go directly to the second link, which is also going into the chat, and it will give you a notice that you could put into a newsletter that you send out to your network, or it might be just an email that you send out to your colleagues, or it might be that you're on another webinar and you want to share this out. Please go ahead. If you need any of the specific slides, let us know. We'll get them to you, but you also have those from within the toolkit. We also gave you social media posts and graphics that you can use. Please share out the toolkit. We need to take this to scale so that we can build a more sustainable future for ourselves as well as for the next generation. So that's my big ask to you. I mean, of course, use the toolkit, but I think you'll all be motivated to do that. Please take a few moments and share the toolkit. I'm counting on you because we didn't have budget, right, to pay for distribution. And you all have your networks and your newsletters and your communications. So just include this, please. All right, so we want to get some feedback from you. So we're going to ask for short answers in the chat. And the first question is, what are you most excited about using from the toolkit? We'd love to hear it. I know I was here 6 months ago and we talked about how this was coming, but now, you've seen it, you've seen more about what it's about. So if you could put that into the chat, we'd like to be able to read that during this time and afterwards. And then what did you not see today that you wish was in the toolkit? Where you go, wow, I haven't heard about this. Do you have that in there? I hope you're including that. And then do you have any questions or comments? If you put the questions in the Q&A part of the control panel, we would appreciate that. And then do you have a recruitment approach that you used that was super successful that we haven't mentioned today in the headings? And I know it's hard to tell everything that's in the toolkit from what we presented, but if you think you've got something that's worked really, really well, and you're willing to share it, I hope we're all in this together at this point, right? To make a more sustainable future for all. Please put that in the chat too. So these questions, Sarah is going to put in the chat so that you can answer them. And I'm going to move on to another slide that's got a really important announcement for you. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for just a few seconds so that you can put things into the chat, actually. Giving you time. And in fact, in just a minute, I'm going to get out of this slide presentation so I can go look at what you're putting into the chat.
Yeah, everyone seems to be really excited about it, and we're so excited for you all to use it. And the questions are posted in chat, and many of people are posting their own answers too, which is great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, we'll get to the questions in the comments in a minute. I want to make sure that everybody sees this. All of you who know me, and it's many of you, but there's new people on here, which is just so great, to see this next generation coming. You know that we work on advocacy for the policies that we need for systemic and societal change. We all need to do that, need to have our voices heard. So we want to tell you that some outstanding regulations have been updated on reducing soot and on reducing carbon from power plants. This is essential to climate solutions. But there are people in Congress that are threatening to roll back those standards, to eliminate them with a vote called a CRA, a Congressional Review Act. And what that means is that if it passes, then you cannot pass regulations like that again in the future. So it can be really harmful and damaging to our progress. So we would like you to help protect these crucial pollution reduction regulations. And we have a sign-on letter. We have a youth sector of our U.S. Partnership for Education for Sustainable Development. Sarah's one of the team leads, and they have been working with a whole bunch of other organizations on this work. So there is a letter, and the link is going into the chat right now. Please click on that link, and you'll see a simple Google form. In the Google form, all you're going to do is sign on to the letter so it can get delivered to members of Congress and say, don't roll back the progress on the updating of these pollution standards that were so out of date or even non-existent. You do not have to include your organization, so you don't have to worry about going back and asking your organization for permission. We do ask that you acknowledge the work of the youth sector of the U.S. partnership called Change the Chamber. So one of the questions in the sign-on form is, who did you hear this from? So if you can just do the drop-down menu, and when you scroll down, you'll see Change the Chamber. Click on Change the Chamber. Sarah and their teammates will say thank you, and I do too. There's also a last question that says, like, who are you? You know, are you an academic? Are you, and it says checklist. So I wanted to make it easy for you. You can just say, check other, and you can say either I work in clean energy or I'm a clean energy leader. And the truth is, all of you on this webinar today are leaders. And it's effective for Congress to hear you with that. Okay. So please do that sign-on letter. That vote might occur any day, literally any day. Remember, if you haven't filled out this recruitment updates form so that we can contact you with updates, please don't email me unless you really need to. I'm already getting 400 emails a day. Kelly is more open to getting those emails. Angela, I think maybe as well, but I would much rather have you just fill out this form, will you? And we'll give you updates and you'll be connected to us. Okay, so I'm going to move out of here. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can see what you've been saying in the Q&A. And I have one other presenter who I want to bring to you while I'm checking out the chat and the Q&A. And that other presenter is Ebony Mayhorn. Ebony is from the Pacific Northwest National Labs. And of course, they haven't just funded us to do this, but they're doing all sorts of wonderful things, including an upcoming workshop. So please, Ebony, fill us in.
Yes, thank you for having me today. I'm grateful to have the introduction to the group. It looks like a lot of the things that have been even discussed today are very aligned with what we're trying to do in the upcoming workshop, especially the things that Brent had discussed. But I just wanted to share that we have been at PNNL working with a local community center in Houston that serves a disadvantaged community. And this community organization has a training center, and they also serve the community in food drives and things like that. And so they are very connected with the community. And so we had initiated a project a few years ago where we wanted to co-develop strategies for increasing demand for and preparing a clean energy workforce in urban disadvantaged communities. And we're doing that through pilot projects and providing, and then we're also providing resources for other community organizations as we learn through the process. And one of the things that we did was we helped this community organization set up and pilot a HVAC training course. And we wanted to really just kind of gauge what are the challenges in recruiting and actually their challenges with learning and also with getting them into jobs. And one of the main things that came out of that was the main challenge was the pipeline going from the classroom to a higher position. And so there wasn't a lot of partnerships or I would say usually when there's a workforce program, you have to establish partnerships, right? But it's hard to maintain and initiate these partnerships with larger organizations. And also just in general, like a lot of the employers don't know much about what's going on with the training centers, and the training centers may be out of the loop in terms of what are the challenges that employers are having when they're bringing in new entrants, and there could be this feedback loop between these community-based organizations or these training centers as well as the employers, so that we can start looking to meet the demands over time, and we can continue to refine like how the training organizations are providing the certifications that are needed for the specific trades that are of interest to the trainees, but also what are some additional maybe pre-training things that they can provide to be able to set these trainees up for success in a new job. But then the employers could also be feeding back this information so that they could refine these programs over time. So they're actually providing students or trainees that they're providing students that are skilled the way that they need to be skilled for those positions. And so it really helps the employers as well as the training centers to continue the communication. And so we had looked online, or we kind of searched for best practices on, how best to establish these types of partnerships and initiate them and then maintain them over time, but really didn't see much on that. And so we wanted to organize a workshop that can help to address this challenge. And we want to bring the employers and community organizations and training centers together to start hashing out how we can best work together and refine these programs over time so we can really scale the workforce. And so I just wanted to present the opportunity for people on this call, or even if you're aware of others that may want to participate, I want to share my contact information. If you're interested in participating in a workshop like this or see the need for it, feel free to contact us. And once we have a date and are ready to invite, we will send out the communication to everyone. The other thing is, I know we hadn't found anything online about a lot of things, but we're happy to get feedback on, what should be on this agenda, what are the topics we should be discussing as well. So if you have any insights on, specific issues that we should be talking about in this type of meeting, we're open to hearing that. And also, we'd like to hear whether you think that this is actually a need. Is this really addressing a gap, or should we be looking to focus on something else here? So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Deborah.
Thanks. I just wondered if anybody wants to put some comments in the chat about what Ebony said. I know there've been a lot of people working on this across the country.
Yeah, I'd like to even hear more about that. Just, who else is working on this? I saw that Brent was working on something very similar, but not necessarily the emphasis that we have on the, continued feedback piece. But, maybe there's an opportunity to collaborate and not really reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, there were actually regional partnerships that were funded under the ARA bills. How many years ago was that now, folks? 8 years ago? Many of them with these kinds of goals in mind. So I know the toolkit will be helpful, but not cover all the bases. Ebony, I'm sure you and I will have a conversation. But yeah, so somebody just said, I am having exactly the same thing here in Western Massachusetts. That's Sharon. We got a lot of people in the chat who say that they would like to attend. Are you putting your contact information in the chat, Ebony, so that they can reach out to you?
Yes, I'm doing that now.
Okay, great. Yep, and you can see you've got a lot of people who are interested in attending. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And then when you're ready to take it to scale, I want to talk to you about taking it
Yeah,
this
we
year.
can come back, and
Yep.
share whatever we're learning. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot more we can be talking about offline too, Deb.
Yep. Okay, I want to answer a question that came up, one in the chat and one in the question and answers. Kyle said, I thought in general we got rid of the word green as that comes with connotations and it is now either climate change or renewable. So here's what we found. We found that the political climate and the verbiage that resonates is different depending on where you are. And in some areas, green is safe and motivating, and in other areas, it is not. In some areas, climate change is great, and in other areas, you're going to run into a bunch of science deniers and it's a hoaxer. And so you have to come in through another door. And then we have so many of them, right? Healthy homes, more comfortable homes, more cost-effective buildings to live in. So I think you really have to look at your audience and then pick the verbiage accordingly. And you'll see that reflected in our key messages. And I am not seeing, there we go. Here's Ebony's information. Sarah just dropped it. Thank you, Sarah. ebony.mayhorn@pnnl.gov. I also want to put into our discussion, somebody talked about the need for soft skills. And this, because it was a recruitment toolkit, it wasn't a training toolkit. We have some links to free curricular materials, but we don't have, the toolkit does not focus on soft skills. I would like to enthusiastically agree that we need soft skills, but not just for the employees, that we need them for the employers, that we need them for some of our educators, that we need them for some of our administrators, that we need them built into some of our social media. That after teaching all these fields, renewable energies and HVAC and stuff for 42 years, I simultaneously taught psychology for 27 years because I found it was so important. Helping people get out of their defensive egos and instead be able to be effectively collaborative, helping people cope with anxiety and stress and even grief, helping them to balance the work-life balance and all the other things that happen when somebody in the family says, hey, you need to take grandpa to the doctors because nobody else can, and you're on a brand new job, and how do you communicate that to your employer or to your teacher? So we do have, Sarah, I'm going to ask you to drop into the chat. The youth sector has created a certificate training that is free called How to Be an Environmental Change Maker. The reason I bring it up is because it's got a lot of materials in there and they are all free for you to use, on how to cope with difficult feelings, on how to build your interpersonal skills, your communication skills. Any of you can use those materials in your training. But there is so much out there now on social and emotional learning and also on workplace soft skills. Hate the word soft because they really aren't that soft, right? They're just not maybe the technical skills, but they're the skills we need to build healthy relationships with ourselves, with each other, and also in our workplace. So in the retention section, you'll find some reference to them, but that would be a great thing for us to be able to focus on in a future project. And James just put in a great resource, wonderful. And we will make sure, of course, to capture the things that are in the chat and to share. I don't know if people are going to be able to say, just put their email in and say, I'm interested. I think you may want to actually email Ebony, okay, to make sure that it gets onto her plate. And let's just drop that email again for Ebony, okay? And we'll do that right now. All right. Other questions, comments, things you want to share? Okay, I'm not going to keep you if we are done with the conversation, but I also want to encourage you to, now's your chance, right? Let people know about you or make a comment. Hey, and you can be critical of this too, you know? You can say, hey, I really think you need to put in more of this. We are going to have an upcoming webinar with people on distributing the toolkit. We already have, a list, but if you think that there are other people who should be included in that, can you please send that to Kelly? Is this right? I'm doing it out of my memory. kcarey@bpi.org. Is that right, Kelly?
That is right. And there's actually one very important thing that I forgot to say. I forgot to give credit to our photographer, Sydney Anderson. She shot those photos at Wayne Metro Community Action. She did a stellar job. She was lovely to work with. So many thanks to her. I don't know if she's attending today, but we're just so grateful.
Okay. All right, Pagan, are you still there? September wants to know how you can get your information on the greenworkforceconnect.org website. Can we unmute Pagan? She's still here. Michelle, what do you think?
Let me check.
I know there's a form, right? Wasn't there a form on the website?
I just unmuted Pagan, so she should
There
be
you
able
go.
to
Hey,
speak.
Pagan.
Hi, you can hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great, thanks so much. It depends what type of organization you are and where that organization type fits into our rollout plans. You can email me. I'll put my email address in the chat and we can connect.
Hey, I just want to acknowledge to everybody here that we must have done something relevant because I've been doing these webinars for what, a couple of years, right, with IREC? I never saw the retention on a webinar. That's not true. Some we did, but today was amazing. Like 138 people at one point. I just took a quick look. I don't know if that's the top number. Of course, we need to get this out to tens of thousands of people. This is about scaling it nationally. So once again, please hit that share the toolkit button. And in fact, I wanted to share it with you. So here's what the landing page looks like at BPI. Sweet, thanks to them. They were actually doing a whole new website update, and they, really put in the long hours to make this work for today. So thanks to them. But you can see, how career counselors don't necessarily know about the field and how there's a high demand and how there's, great careers and jobs. So we have a button just for them. You can click on that and it'll give them information. And it also tells them how they can use this toolkit. I love the idea of just calling them and asking them to put posters up around the school so that the students can see the posters and directly go to your website where you can publicize your education opportunities or your employment opportunities. I also want to point, if you scroll down on this website, I'm sharing it, right? You guys can see this?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Sarah. You'll see the social media gallery, the free photos gallery, the prints and presentations gallery. All of that is there. It's just so wonderful. And then also when you scroll up above, see that share the toolkit button? That is my ask to you. Please go here. And if you are reaching out to educators, there's an announcement for an email or a newsletter. Here's the graphics. If you are on social media, this works for Twitter, but of course you can put it on the other social media ones. And then we've got it for heat pump related businesses, for employers in general, and for career advisors. So, once again, let's put this into the chat. That is truly my ask of you, is to get this out. Okay. Sarah, if you can put that back into the chat, because what I want to do is I want to go back I want to show you what some of these galleries look like. Here's the, which one do you want me to hit first, Kelly? Social media or free photos? Let's do free photos, okay? Because I'm here. Look at this. All yours. They've all signed off. You can use this. I know it says weatherization photos, but if you see a lot of these photos could be used by an HVAC company, by a heat pump, education course. So there you go. That's all for you to use. Thanks again to our nonprofit in Detroit. Love Detroit. And then here's for you to use your own. This isn't the social media to share the toolkit. That's under the share the toolkit button. But this is the social media for you to use to reach out to tell people about your programs or your employment opportunities. See the different themes? And you can download them. And thanks again to Kelly for the ridiculous amount of time and work that she put in.
And
It's
this
truly
way,
been-
people will be able to avoid the issue with Google Drive if you cannot access photos on Google Drive.
Yep. And then prints and presentations, of course, as well. So there you go, folks. Okay. Stop sharing. Anything else you want us to cover or anything else that you all want to say? Oh, that's good to know. Thank you.
Great webinar. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Brent, all the presenters that we had today. Thank you to the attendees for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in July. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Janelle, Dr. Janelle. Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody in the audience, all the good work that you're doing. We appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Bye-bye.